And if we go over here, we can see some of the new enemies and whatnot, and there's a lot of them. Starting off with the Fiery Blowhog. From the Blowhog family, this creature expels a volatile phosphorus compound from its snout that combusts upon contact with air. The fire breath ability is dependent upon the air-to-fuel ratio at its mouth. Catalyst reactions within the expelled compounds and the purification of the compound. Thus, it is highly unlikely such a complex process could cause the spontaneous explosion of a fallen Blowhog. This process is also perhaps to avoid the risk of spontaneous combustion in the belly of a live specimen. However, one should still treat a fiery Blowhog with great care, even after its life functions have ceased. A female sheargrub from the Mandibulod family. The male of the species are purple and black creatures with tempered mouths, while the females are lighter in color and lack the armored exoskeleton. As with most Malibards, these creatures have regressed to the point where they have lost both legs and wings. They can be seen crawling around in the ground and are believed to feed off the vegetable extract from the congealated fluids of expired Pikmin. Ew. The male sheargrub. Sheargrub male, the Malibird family. This species is a male sheargrub. Having lost both legs and wings, the male burrows into the soil and waits to ambush small creatures that pass by. The beast's mandibles can be dangerous, making creatures such as Pikmin easy prey. Ivory Candypop Bud. Research from our most recent expedition has confirmed the presence of Candypop buds in the subterranean regions. Considering the microecologic this plant has to offer, can be surmised that can be found in any cavern regardless of the region. Tossing Pikmin into the flower produces white Pikmin seeds regardless of the color the Pikmin tossed in. In many cases, plants with small leaves typically have limited photosynthesis capabilities and thus find alternative means of obtaining nutrients. Even parasitic and predatory behaviors being most common, these Candypop buds could be considered one such example. The Cloaking Barrowknit of the Barrowknit family. The snake-eye pattern on this beef shell is one of the most distinctive features of the Burrowing Knit family. The red pattern of the cloaked barrowknit and the spikes around its mantle makes it easily identifiable while still making it a representative specimen of the barrowknit family. The shell of the cloaking barrowknit's back also provides a frame that fixes its muscular structure in place and appears to give the creature its powerful needle-launching attack. The Creeping Chrysanthemum of the Chrysanthemum family. Like Pikmin, the Creeping Chrysanthemum is a member of the group of creatures with abnormally root structure. The creature is known as a mimic, but because it is actually a form of plant, this label is not entirely accurate. For unknown reason, the Creeping Chrysanthemum mimicry does not fool Pikmin, perhaps because they share a similar heritage. It relies on preying upon other creatures to provide sustenance, so it has no need of leaves for photosynthesis. Generally speaking, the wool of the plant within the ecosystem is a producer species, and thus plants are generally found at the bottom of the food pyramid. However, on the strange planet, the line between producing plant and consumer plant is blurred. I want to see if it does the one thing. Because it can miss if it does that attack. There we go. If it misses, it smacks itself and knocks itself down on the ground. Smack. The Honeywisps of the Honeywisp family. This floating life form drifts effortlessly in the winds. Upon death, its physical structure instantaneously collapses, and as the creature is particularly elusive and difficult to capture, no sample specimens have been acquired as of yet. If we could simply recover a live specimen, research on the species could likely proceed more smoothly. Horsetail! The horsetail family. This variety of horsetail is prevalent in the region with low nutrient contents in the soil. Unlike most other plants, this particular species propagates itself through the release of spores. Oh, so it's like a fungus. The Clover. Of the Clover family. This is a naturalized specimen. These plants are extremely persistent, and with the assistance of a symbiotic fungus that grows at its roots, the species is able to survive even in drought conditions. Typically, the leaves come in groupings of 3, but intense impacts on the leafing stem early in the development cycle can result in an extremely rare 4-leaf cluster. The common glowcap of the glowcap family. The light emitted from this rare mushroom is neither a reflection nor a release of stored light. It grows not only to decompose trees, but not only on decomposing trees, but also in soil and rock. This mushroom's fungal filaments are capable of stabilizing and concentrating pure Hakutanium-111. It is none other than the Hakutanium-111 approaching the point of critical mass that causes the glowcap's blue luminescence. The Margaret of the Chrysanthemum family. This plant's delicate yellow flowers often inspire waves of nostalgia, giving bittersweet feelings to any who gaze upon them. The Fiddlehead from the Fern family. At first glance, this plant resembles the spring used in the ship's sublight engine. Many of the most primitive characteristics remain intact, including its habit of spreading through the disposal of spores. The Empress Bulblax! Who does not want to wake up for carrots? Of the Grubdog family, the Empress Bulblax. Initial observations placed doubt on the capabilities of the Grubdog family to support a strong ant or bee-like social structure, but recent studies show the family is capable of such complexity. The egg sac of the largest female grub dog within a given range swells to dramatic proportion. In response to environmental changes, such as sudden depletion of prey species, the female temporarily take on the role of pack matriarch. Also, in pack formations, it has been observed that nearly all males not involved in species reproduction undergo natural sex changes. The characteristics of such specimens are quite intriguing. The Burrowing Snagret of the Snavarian family. The majority of Snagret species lie in wait to ambush and capture prey with a body type perfectly adapted to such sudden strikes. It violently attacks small surface-dwelling insects, distributed across a relatively wide range. Suspects of Snagrets suited to varying soil conditions have emerged, making the Snagret the most geographically representative species besides the bulbul. Visually representing the Burrowing Snagret is the Burrowing Snarrow, the range of which particularly overlaps with the Snagret range. While the two may appear similar when pulled from the ground, they can be distinguished by the presence or absence of a tail and wing markings. Something we'll get into later. The Sunseed Berry! I found this fascinating fruit while out exploring today. The skies cleared up and I felt peace watching the pink flower petals flutter in the wind. During this perilous expedition, it seemed strange to have such soft-hearted romantic thoughts. If I told my wife about this, I'm sure I'd get laughed at. Again. Aw, poor guy. The Toxic Toadstool. This dubious morsel doesn't look like it would be very agreeable with my innards. However, I bet Louis would try a bite. His appetite is insatiable, and he's always cooking up tasty meals. I'm glad he's on this expedition. Our ship reactor can power our life support systems indefinitely. This will give us all the time we need to thoroughly examine the treasure we recover. I don't care if the president wants us to hurry. I've had enough of his hassling. I think I'll move more slowly just to cause him indigestion. The Petrified Heart. The vivid color of this red stone reminds me of my wife's eyes when they burn with rage. Just between you and me, I've noticed lately that she's been getting more wrinkles. Now that I think about it, I probably caused her a lot of stress. When I return to Hakutate, I'll take her on a long vacation. I have once again discovered a completely undocumented species of Pikmin. These white Pikmin can find and dig up items that are buried entirely underground. We never would have found this priceless treasure without them. Thankfully, it's the perfect stuff to patch a hole. I just noticed on the ship's hull. P.S. I named the cave where I first encountered them the White Flower Garden. a luck rifle. What a strange pattern. When I look at it, I can feel good fortune smiling down on me. If I could just buy a lottery ticket right now, I'm sure I'd win. Computers view the world in ones and zeros, but my people are different. Our world isn't simply black or white, right or wrong. Everybody is different. Maybe one day the ship will understand that, and maybe one day it won't give me sass when I ask it to collect a slimy specimen. At night, I have nothing to do to keep me occupied. I've been searching for something to dull the boredom, but every time I find something I want to play with, it's broken. This object is a great example. It looks fascinating, but I can't get it to function. I guess I have to do is write in this journal. The cave we searched today was lined with flames spewing sprouts. The temperature of the cave was absolutely stifling. Oh, that reminds me, I completely forgot to tell Louis about the red Pikmin. He's so quiet, I sometimes forget he's even there. This item sold from the cave seems to be some sort of storage device, but I have no way to play back the contents. This is a peculiar object. Just looking at it fills me with a powerful sense of nostalgia. Now that I think about it, the Pikmin had a curious look on their faces when I carried it. Or maybe that was just my imagination. In a survival situation, the most important things are water, courage, and a first aid kit. I've got water and an endless supply of courage, but I don't have a first aid kit. Sometimes I don't have a whole lot of motivation either. I may be a daring explorer, but sometimes I just want to loaf around all day and sleep. Wait, why the president reads this journal? I never dream of slacking on the job! Yeah! There are several different patterns drawn on the object's surface. They appear to be characteristics or letters, but I can't make any sense of them. This is just an educated guess, but I wonder if the object is a kind of alien bulletin board? The size of the object seems about right for it. I love that, though, because of the fact that they're so small that they have no idea, like, what was the thing be, and they're just, like, making up their own ideas. The interior of this hemisphere contained a chip coated with charts detailing a new region. I explored this first the last time I was here, but it's clear that it has undergone some dramatic changes. The plants and animals have even evolved significantly. I've given this forest a new name, the Awakening Wood. I must begin to form a hypothesis to explain why the forest changed so rapidly. Yeah, that's also, if you actually read this, that's how you actually... That's one way of figuring it out if you don't actually realize it. The game actually telling you, hey, I've been here before, and everything is different. Today I delivered an impromptu lecture on the basics of wilderness survival. As Louis' superior, it is my responsibility to teach him these skills. Walking around as much as we do generates an intense thirst, so water becomes very important. I told Louis that we have to ration our water carefully. That's what I was thinking until I found this. I was so parched that I couldn't help myself. I drank all the water in the canteen. It tasted so good! But when I turned around, Louis gave me a cold stare. The prototype detector. Today we searched a subterranean lair swarming with carnivorous bugs. The name Hola Beast immediately came to mind. The convenient contraption I found there was becoming an invaluable treasure-seeking tool. When it approaches a piece of treasure, the gadget beeps and the needle moves to the right. When all the treasure in the area has been collected, the device powers down. When we left Hockatape, I thought we'd never be able to pay off the company's debt, but thanks to this gadget, I'm feeling optimistic about the outcome of this daring mission. And last, the 5-man Napsack! I love to lay down in the grass, bask in the sun, and take an afternoon nap. But all those Pikmin following me, I can never seem to relax. I should remember to press C to dismantle the Pikmin and then just hold C to take a nap. Last time I tried it, the Pikmin picked me up while I slept and carried me to the onion. Hold your space horses, Pikmin, I'm not a pellet or a piece of treasure. Then I woke up. Great galaxies. It was all just a dream, wasn't it?